Welcome back to The Price of Business. I am your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. Got John Horvat on the program. He's been on the program before. We had a great time, and I'm always surprised we don't get him on more often because I always enjoy what he brings. He brings a very moral, moral and economically sound worldview to our conversations, and really recognizes, for example, in free markets, the importance of a moral foundation to that, and saw recently something that you were talking about why Steve Jobs limited his children's exposure to technology, which I think is a fascinating topic, and been looking forward to talking to you about it. How are you, John? Good to talk to you again.
Good. Great to be on the show.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, your institute and the work that you do there.
I'm with the organization called Tradition Family Property. We're a civic organization of Catholic inspiration. We defend tradition family property through books and publications and educational work and campus work. So that's pretty much where I come from.
Yeah, I got you on for your recent article and work about Steve Jobs that I thought is fascinating. But I got to tell you, I need to get you back on to talk about what is obviously happening with this religious liberty amendment, because I got to tell you, I look at the situation and it's almost like the inverse of what happened, in Nazi Germany, with the exact same consequences. I remember reading the quote of the Christian minister who said that the Jews got attacked, but I did nothing because I'm not a Jew. The Slavs got attacked, but I did nothing because I wasn't a Slav. The Gypsies got, and he went down the line,
right.
And then all of a sudden, I got attacked as a Christian, but there was no one there to defend me. And I got to tell you, these people who feel like they're oppressed people, the gay and lesbian community that feels like oppressed people, are using an oppressor, which is government, to try to get their objectives out there. And the vast majority of people out there are Christians, but there have been Christians. They're Christians who've been taught with a worldview that's pretty impotent, don't you think?
Right, exactly. No, it's a crazy situation that these kind of things will be allowed, and it's hardly a free market when you're forced to go against your own religious beliefs and conscience, and to do business in that against that. It's just something inconceivable.
Yeah, sometime we ought to talk about that at length. But let's talk about Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs, of course, is brilliant. He's a small god to many in the technology field, and someone you can't help but be impressed by what he had done. What I found was interesting, though, was your thoughts about his conversations he had regarding limiting technology and his kids. Jump right into that.
Yes. Oh, yes. No, he did. His children, when they went to school, there was a low-tech school. When they had dinner, talked about books and history. He didn't allow them to have an iPad at a certain age. When they first came out, he actually said that it would inhibit their creativity. So he of all people limited their tech input and didn't allow them to have tech overload, which so many people have today.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did he say why?
Well, I think it just simply he saw that he lived a typical what I call a liberal contradiction. He lived in the real world. He knew he had to operate in the real world, and his children also. But he promoted a dream world of gadgets where you could just have everything instantly, and you really don't have to pay for everything instantly, and all this kind of stuff. I mean, he lived a contradiction. I think he saw that if he put his children in that contradiction, they wouldn't go ahead.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you think the lessons are for the rest of us?
I think technology is there to serve us. We shouldn't serve technology. And that, I think, is the big lesson. And when we get to a point where everything becomes an occasion for a Facebook post or a selfie, we're really in trouble. We have to tone down to get back to the real world, to what I call return to order.
Yeah, return to order. And it seems to me that there's a lot of people who make a living off of chaos, isn't there?
It is, yeah. I mean, they do make a living off this. They exacerbate it. They make it even worse. They push everything. You have to have the latest and greatest 5.0, 6.0, and they make money off of it. But it doesn't necessarily help the economy or the culture of our country.
No question about it. No question about it. What are some of the other issues that you are working on in Return to Order?
Well, Return to Order is a book about economy. It's about what we need, about moral values, and above all, puts the two together: moral values and economy. And I'm looking at a lot of the trends in today's society. Just this, what I call the frenetic intemperance of our days, where everything is, you have to have everything instantly now, regardless of the consequences, and how this is destroying our economy, and how we need to look at our lives and draw a line, saying, well, this I won't go. I have to take measures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I think about earlier cultures, and you look at some of the great buildings that were made, centuries ago, and people designed those buildings before they died, and their great-grandchildren finally saw those buildings completed. And we live in such a culture now. I'm not sure there's people that can even have that ability. That takes an incredible capacity to think in an emotionally mature way. I think we are actually creating a war on our emotional maturity, which is so crucial for a culture to be able to survive.
Right. I mean, culture is not just the instant, day-to-day things where it's just now. It is that pushing things ahead for your future generations, having in mind future generations, having in mind past generations, that continuity that needs to exist if we're really going to have a meaningful culture and not just a instant gratification culture where, people, it really hurts people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question about it. What would you say are some of the takeaways that you want to convey to the audience out there?
Well, regarding the Steve Jobs things, I would say that the first obstacle to disconnecting from tech overload is to overcome the myth that you can't. You can do it. It's not something that is impossible. And secondly, that overcome the myth that nobody else is limiting tech overload. There are a lot of people out there doing it, more people than you realize. I mean, Steve Jobs did. So if he could do it, we could do it as well.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the idea of, I've been entertaining this for quite a while, like doing a weekly fast, just one day a week from technology entirely, and I the fact that I haven't done it makes me wonder how addicted I am to the technology.
Right. I mean, we all complain about it, but when you come down to it, it is so attractive to try, just to check the email, to do this, to do that. I think it's a good idea. I mean, over the Easter holidays, I sort of did that, it was for a day or two. Just you just were busy with other things, so you didn't have that. And I found it quite refreshing. I'm still survived, still alive, so I guess it worked.
Yeah, you still survive. Yeah, that's interesting. I gotta wonder though, because I start getting a little nervous, a little jittery if I haven't checked my my technology in a what I consider a reasonable time frame, which can often be measured in minutes, not even hours. And so,
right. No, it is that. It is definitely that. And well, we do need to we do need to bring back that human element in the economy, and that's what I talk a lot about in Return to Orders. That the human element is so very important, and when we're reduced to machine-like functions or just put in a cycle like that, it really hurts us.
Yeah, it does. Well, listen, I appreciate your time and look forward to seeing more work from you. John Horvat, by the way, his book is a phenomenal book. I've had it now. I think I got it last year, and it's an excellent read, and I appreciate what you're doing in trying to help restore order.
Yeah, you can go to returntoorder.org, and we just published the paperback edition, and so we're giving away some copies of that. And so, if you go there, you can get a paperback edition just by filling out the form.
Returntoorder.org, and
right.
I will encourage people to do just that. Thanks so much, John.
It's been great.
You bet. All right, when we come back, much more for you. We want to remind you that the best content here, including this interview, will be found over there at usdailyreview.com, and you're listening to The Price of Business.